Jalen Williams is the most underrated player in the NBA. When you look at Jalen's career so far, it's pretty clear that this guy has had an extremely successful career. The way he's been able to score the basketball over a long stretch, really ever since he was drafted, is pretty incredible, to be honest. There's been countless games where J-Dub was able to go off and help the Thunder win games, whether you talk about in the first or second half. And overall, when you look at this guy's scoring ability, I think he's one of the best scorers in the entire NBA. And I think a lot of NBA fans know this guy is pretty good, but I don't necessarily think they realize how great he truly is. But quickly, before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports. I make opinionated NBA content. And if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. I also want to quickly mention that I recently started up an MMA channel, and if you guys are interested in that, the link will be in the description. But anyways, let's get into it. Jalen Williams was drafted with the number 12 overall selection during the 2022 NBA draft by the OKC Thunder. And originally when Jalen was coming into the NBA, it was pretty clear that there was something special about this guy. He was able to score the basketball in a lot of different ways, and a lot of teams, especially the Thunder, thought it would translate extremely well to the NBA. And in his rookie season, he proved that it definitely did, as he averaged 14 points per game on 4.5 boards and 3.3 assists. Now, obviously, when you look at those numbers, they are extremely solid, but at the end of the day, I don't think they're indicative of how good of a scorer J-Dub truly is. Because during his rookie season, J-Dub was having a lot of stretches of games and a lot of games individually where he was putting up 25 plus on any given night. He was doing a really nice job at going on those onslaughts where he just scores a ton in a row, and overall it was pretty clear that J-Dub was an extremely talented scorer, and he was able to do so in a lot of different ways. And after his pretty impressive rookie season, a lot of fans were extremely excited to see where he can go following that. And in his second season, which is this year, so far J-Dub has had a very impressive season, averaging 19 points per game on 4 boards and 4.6 assists. And when you look at the overall improvement from last year compared to this year, it's pretty clear that it's significant. In terms of his scoring, he's doing a really nice job at being a little bit more under control, a little bit more efficient, and just be a lot more consistent as well. But even besides his scoring ability, he's done a great job at improving other aspects of his game as well. Whether you talk about his facilitating ability, which is something that I talk about in a lot of my videos, but when you have a guy that's an extremely talented scorer, it's extremely important that they'll be able to facilitate the basketball. Because of course, when you're going off in certain stretches, opposing teams are probably going to send double or triple teams to you, or at least focus on you. And if you have a pretty nice ability to facilitate out there, it just makes your offense that much more dangerous because you're going to find those open guys for easy looks. And when you look at J-Dub last year compared to this year, it's pretty clear that he's definitely gotten better in that department. But even besides his facilitating ability, J-Dub has done a great job at rebounding, and overall it's pretty clear that when you look at J-Dub's game from top to bottom, this guy's an extremely talented player, and more importantly, he's an extremely talented scorer. But a question that some of you may be wondering at this point is, why has J-Dub been able to be such a talented scorer in the NBA so far? Well, in my opinion, I think it comes down to a couple different factors, but I think his overall versatility is a huge reason why. Because when you look at Jalen's game, it's pretty clear that this guy can score the basketball in a lot of different ways. Whether you talk about that 3-point shooting ability, he definitely has it. He has a 1-dribble pull-up from that range. He can cross over into a 3. He can sidestep or step back. He can hit the catch and shoot 3-point jump shot. And overall from that 3-point range, Jalen has done a really nice job at being able to shoot that shot relatively efficiently, but also does a really nice job at being able to shoot it in a lot of different ways. But even besides that, Jalen has a great ability to shoot that mid-range jump shot as well, whether you talk about the 1-dribble pull-up, post turnaround fadeaway, sidestep, step back, crossover, catch and shoot. Basically from that mid-range area, it's pretty clear that J-Dub has all the abilities, and he's very prolific as well. But even besides that, Jalen has a great ability to drive to the basket. Once he gets a full head of steam and drives all the way to the basket, Jalen does a really nice job at using either his left or right hand to finish around players with crafty legs, layups. He also has a good amount of strength and athleticism in order to finish through contact and get and-one finishes. He also does a pretty nice job at putting up floaters in the lane. And overall, when you look at Jalen's game from top to bottom, it's pretty clear that this guy's a true 3-level scorer. And not only is he a 3-level scorer, but he's a guy that has a really nice ability at all 3 of those levels and can be extremely efficient from no matter where he's at on the court. And in my opinion, when you talk about a guy who's as versatile as J-Dub is, and you also talk about a guy who's as talented as J-Dub is, it just becomes virtually impossible to defend this guy. And I think that's exactly what we've seen ever since he's came to the NBA, and especially ever since this season has started, once J-Dub has gotten a full year of experience under his belt, and he's even more confident at this point. So overall, I definitely do think the overall versatility that we've been seeing from J-Dub is a huge reason for why he's been able to be so successful in the scoring department in the NBA. Well, another question that some of you may be wondering at this point is, what are my future expectations for this guy? Well, as I mentioned before in the video, it's pretty clear that I think that J-Dub is an extremely talented player already. Already at this point, I think he's one of those game changers. I think he's one of those guys that can really put his imprint on any given night. He can do a really nice job at helping his team get comeback victories. He can also do a really nice job at using his scoring in order to grow leads that his team may already have. And at this point, I just think Jalen is an extremely talented player. But for his future potential, I think the sky's the limit for this guy. I think as the years do progress, he's only going to get better in terms of his scoring ability. I think he's going to add a few moves within his game. I think he's going to be a lot more efficient in the future. I also think his playmaking ability is only going to get better. His rebounding is only going to get better. His defense is only going to get better. And overall, I could definitely see in 3 or 4 seasons from now that J-Dub could be a legitimate all-star type guy. I just think already at this point, he's too good of a scorer, and due to the fact that he's so young and due to the fact that he's only shown improvement ever since making it to the NBA, I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if this guy turns into an all-star caliber guy in the next 2 or 3 seasons. So overall, I definitely do think there is a lot to love already at this point with J-Dub, his scoring ability, his facilitating ability, but also in the future, in the long-term future, I think there's only excitement to come as well. And even besides J-Dub, I think when you look at this Thunder roster from top to bottom, it's pretty clear that already at this point they're having a great season, but also in the long-term future, they have a lot of young, talented guys on the roster that are probably only going to get better with time. So I think in the long-term future, not only will J-Dub make significant improvements, but I think the entire Thunder roster as a whole are also going to make significant improvements. And I think the Thunder in the next 2 or 3 years from now are going to be legitimate championship contenders. Now already at this point, they're playing really well, and they could possibly make it relatively far in the playoffs, but I think in the next 2 or 3 seasons from now, they're going to be a lot more seasoned, and they're going to have a much better ability to legitimately compete for an NBA championship. And I think the rest of the NBA is terrified of that prospect, based upon how many young, talented players the Thunder already have at this point, and also considering how many draft picks they have going forward as well. But I guess only time will tell what does end up happening, not only with J-Dub, but also with the Thunder roster as a whole. But I will say I am extremely excited to see what does. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think J-Dub has a real possibility to become an all-star in the future, or do you not think so? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, check one of these 2 videos popping up now, and until the next time, peace out guys.